The number of fires related to personal mobility devices or PMDs has reached its highest in 5 years. There were 73 PMD-related fires from January to September this year, and is almost equal to the 74 PMD fires for the whole of last year, according to the Singapore Civil Defence Force. In 2017, there were 49 PMD-related fires, up from 14 in 2016 and just 1 in 2015. A total of 71 victims were injured by these fires from 2016 to September this year. More recently, a 40-year-old man died in July after being rescued from his burning flat in Bukit Batok. The blaze was linked to 3 e-scooters found burnt in the unit. Now, here with us in the studio to tell us more is journalist Toh Ting Wei. Welcome, Ting Wei.
Hello.
Now, Ting Wei, PMD-related fires have been more common in recent years. I think there's no doubt about that. Now, how significant are these figures?
So in terms of significance, I think it's quite expected because the number of e-scooters in Singapore have been growing year on year. So what we are looking at is just like the number of fires growing in a sort of a corresponding fashion with the e-scooters population. So if you look at the numbers for September and you compare it to the first half of this year, so you look at the number for the first 3 quarters, compare it to the first half of this year, I think the jump is from 49 to 73. So it's 20 around. It's growing at a sort of a proportional number that you expect. So in terms of what will happen after September, I think it's quite likely that the numbers will drop, because that's when, like, September is when the LTA's early disposal early disposal scheme kicks in. So I think for that, like, the numbers will drop.
I see. Now, owners of non-compliant scooters have been encouraged to dispose of them. Now, there's a $100 early disposal incentive if they do so before the end of December. Now, how has the response been like from the e-scooter users so far? So
last month, LTA updated that 14,000 people have registered to trade in, dispose of their e-scooters. And I think the number, they are expected to update on the latest figures sometime this week. So I think the number is expected to show quite a big jump, because ever since at the start when they started this early disposal scheme, I think it got off to a slow start, around 400 plus applications on the first day. But I think the trigger was after they banned e-scooters from footpaths early last month. So after that, it seems like the queues to dispose e-scooters at all these disposal points set around Singapore has been growing quite long. And yeah, so for the example that my colleague Gavin, who has been following this for a while too, when he went to Woodlands last month, he saw this queue that was constantly at 80 people for a couple of hours at least. And if you look at the pictures that he put out, it's really like the whole court is just full of e-scooters. So I think initially people weren't very enthusiastic, because $100 frankly not enough to buy an e-scooter or to act as a compensation if the e-scooter was a useful device. But now that you can't really use it in that many places, or it isn't as convenient as it used to be, I think people are opting to take out the $100.
Right. Now, Ting Wei, you mentioned the story you wrote together with Gavin. Now, you went to check out a disposal point. Now, how quickly, you actually noted how quickly each e-scooter can be taken apart and recycled. Tell us a bit about that.
So the process for that is, like, after you go to the disposal points to throw away the e-scooters, the companies will collate the e-scooters, and then after that, they'll bring them back to their warehouse. So the company that we followed, like Gavin followed, was this firm called Viral Green. So in terms of how fast they can take out the e-scooter, from what Gavin observed, within 15 minutes they can dismantle one whole e-scooter and that's into 20 parts. And I guess they have to be fast because they have thousands of e-scooters to do, and one person, like, even if you look at it, 15 minutes is still, like, there's still a lot of work to do. So what they do is that they take out all the different components, like wheels, handlebars, the platform where you stand on, and then they sell it to different people who need the materials for other use. So in terms of this recycling, so 2 parts to it. Other than recycling the materials, there's also a safety aspect, which was why LTA introduced this disposal scheme, because there's the lithium-ion batteries on these e-scooters, so it's not that you can throw it away like normal trash, because it's a fire hazard, so it has to be disposed of properly.
Yeah, this would be a safe way to dispose of all the e-scooters. Well, thank you, Ting Wei, for discussing this story with us. If you'd like to see Ting Wei's full story, visit straitstimes.com.